welcome to Council Matters. This is a program where we consider issues in the community with members of the community for half the show, and in the other half of the show we are joined by 3 members of council to react and consider what the community is saying. We call it Council Matters because in the municipal government sphere, council has all of the power according to the law, and council can only exercise its power by resolution, and that means that as mayor I have 1 vote, and you can see from the simple arithmetic why council matters. And because in Oakville we have a council that's very responsive to the community, I think the community can see how council matters too. Joining us today are Bill Smith, who's the president of the Oakville Arts Council, Veronica Tyrrell, who is the head of the Caribbean Association of Halton, and Mike Turczyniak, who leads the Oakville Hornets. Welcome, thank you for coming. And today's topic is the community facilities that we have and the community facilities that we want. I'd really like to focus on what do we need. We have a master plan that says what we have worked out together as a community, but that plan gets made and then it sits, we then try to execute it. This is a good point in the life of it, because it's a couple, 3 years old, to do a check and say, what else do we need? I know that the ice community is pretty happy with the amount of ice that we've built, but Mike, what's your sense of what we need next? And you don't have to limit yourself to ice. The girls that play hockey with you also do a million other things.
I think the addition of 16 miles certainly helped. As the users, we just want a facility that is first class, and Oakville has done that. I think where we kind of are short is, I'm going to be selfish with the ice again, is we don't have a lot of ice during the week. We have more users. We have the boys hockey, we have the figure skaters, we have the speed skaters. We have lots of groups that would like to have more ice. During the week, weekend ice is great, but there's kids just don't play hockey, or they're not on the ice all the time. So multi-sports venues also. The advent of 16 miles perfect. You got soccer fields, and I'm sure you're expanding to BMX fields. So you take that model and sort of move it other places in Oakville. I think is a good win for Oakville in general.
So we've got potentially big work left ahead that we could imagine. Veronica, what about in your group? You range all the way across adults and children. What's your sense of what the community still needs?
Well, the Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center is a great physical resource, and we do enjoy that center quite a bit. What we need is a more outdoor facility for festivals, for performing artists and groups. I know we have a steel pan band that is one of the 14 best bands in Ontario, and especially in the warm weather, the summer, we like to perform outdoors, but there are not many outdoor performance space that's set up for that type of facility. Also, the Council of Nations that I'm involved with as well, we do a festival, a summer festival, and the problem is finding an appropriate space outdoors that we'll be able to have that festival.
So let's break that down into the 2 things. I know the Steel Band and the Black History Picnic have used a number of different locations, and they're all, I agree, not made for it. They each have their limits and their features. Exactly. Is there one that's, what comes closest to fitting the need so that we can imagine what we might need?
Yeah. Well, for the Emancipation Day event that we have at the museum, the grounds of the museum, I mean, it's a very nice physical facility, but parking is a big problem. And the type of space, like for dancers, and they have to dance in the grass that is not a good physical type of ground for them. We make do with that space, but I think something different where you can have the audience at a level where they can be able to view that performance. So there's, I think, something that's needed, that the performers are able to see the audience and the audience see the performers, with the audience sitting higher than the performances.
And so on the Carousel of Nations, you've been in all kinds of different places.
Yes, we have.
What's your favorite, and what's the ideal?
Well, we were in, each cultural group had a different facility, but what the public has said to us that they prefer to have it in one facility rather than going around to different venues. So the Kerr Street venue we had, where you close off the street, a part of Kerr Street and a part of Lakeshore, and it was more of a street festival, and the street festival type atmosphere was, I think, the way to go. The only problem we had, again, is with the audience and somewhere for them to sit and view the performances, because we did performances throughout the day from 10 to 8 p.m. And facilities where you can have food, cultural or other cuisine, so that the community could come out and sample various dishes from groups from around the world, different cultures. That is the type of facility that would be ideal.
So is that pretty much a street festival type of ideal thing, with a stage and chairs on the street?
Exactly, something like that, where you have a covered stage because of the elements you have to guard against, and some place for food, so that there are different dishes for the audience to sample and get a part of the culture that way.
So I hope during the work on the downtown streetscape and the cultural hub that you'll participate and put those needs forward, because if you permit, I will speak to them too with the staff, because in a reimagined public space in the downtown, you might be able to have all of those things.
Yes, and it's accessible. People can come in and bring their dogs and cats and the whole family.
So Bill, the Arts Council really put on like a 10-year campaign to get something like Queen Elizabeth Park built. Queen Elizabeth Park wasn't exactly what was originally wanted. That was music and arts shared space. QEP, Community Cultural Center, tries to do that, but where's the Arts Council now? Has it worked out to be better than you hoped, or do we still need another facility? What's the thinking and the pulse of the arts community?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a great facility, and it's large, and so I mean that's been part of an issue, I guess, if you consider trying to fill a space like that. It takes a little while, but certainly from what I've seen, we in the town are getting there. There's a lot more groups who are considering going there, and I mean, I personally really like the space. It's nice and open. There's a lot of halls for displaying art, and it's a really cool place to go. And I also like the fact that there's the athletic side to it as well. And it's the more people that can be attracted to it, the better off it'll be. More people will use it. So yeah, it's an awesome facility, and we really do thank the town for all of the work that they did to put something like that up, because I think it's the largest one. I don't know if it's the largest one in Canada, but certainly one of the largest, and you know, it's quite an accomplishment.
It's sort of the only thing like it in the world that we've been able to find.
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
And it's absolutely the biggest community center.
Yeah.
It's like twice the size of the others.
Yeah, but you know, for us, you know, job one, really, we want to make sure that that it's used to its fullest extent, and then hopefully somewhere down the line, you know, maybe we can duplicate it north of the highway. That would be nice, but we realize that you know, first things first, and you know, getting this facility, you know, completely booked, and you know, having problems finding parking would be excellent, because it's a big parking lot, and that means there's a lot of people in there. So.
I love the way it's busy every time I go there.
Yeah.
It's like a hub of some kind.
Oh, yeah.
So when we do North Park Community Center next to the 16-mile arena, you guys will be there asking for these elements, I imagine.
Well, yeah, I mean, we certainly would like to do that. I mean, Oakville's getting, you know, larger and larger each year, and you know, all of those people that are coming in, they're going to have a lot of interest in the arts, and you know, these days arts and culture are you know, key, and you know, the town is recognizing that with the cultural hub. I mean, you know, we're thrilled that the town is going to the extent they are to, you know, have public meetings, to, you know, to talk individually to the arts groups in Oakville, to get their, you know, impressions and, you know, their desires. It's awesome. So it's...
Yeah, we don't want to build an inch more than the town wants and needs, and we certainly don't want to build something the town wouldn't like.
Right.
So you can count on us to keep asking.
Right.
The cultural hub is another, besides, never mind, you know, North Park 2, as I sometimes call the community center there. The cultural hub itself is another opportunity.
Yeah.
So what about mixing more athletics and arts and culture? Mike, if at the arenas we hung art, how would that go down, do you think?
I think that's that's a good point. I think interacting with different groups certainly does help. We're all community-based minded people, so I think when you see something you don't necessarily do, you know, hockey players looking at arts and vice versa, it's a win-win for the whole community, right? So having them separated I don't think makes sense anymore. I think having a community certainly does. You know, when we have festivals, we all show up. Yeah. So it doesn't hurt to not put that whole thing together. I guess the logistics is the parking and how do you get there, and when you have those types of facilities. But I think it's a win for everybody.
Yeah, we're very proud of our bus system,
yes.
Which I always should try to put in a plug for. Veronica, many groups, including yours, sometimes use Town Hall itself as an art gallery to hang a temporary exhibit. Is Town Hall really the place for that? Has it been a satisfactory use of Town Hall?
It has been a satisfactory use, the Town Hall hanging the art exhibits, but and because of the number of people that come in and out of the Town Hall. But I think with the work that has been done, it's different now, because the art is not as accessible if you hang it there at the Town Hall. You don't see it as soon as you come in.
Around the corner.
You have to go around, yeah. You have to go around to see it and go to the various offices. Memo
to self, maybe I can get a sign that says art this way.
But I find, because we have had the Black History Month kickoff celebration there, it was really convenient to have the art exhibit at the same time. So people were able to view the art exhibit, and then there are the cultural experiences, there are the performances, which was a part of that celebration. But QEP is an excellent place for the art exhibit, and we're looking at that as well.
Now, you know, it's funny to me, but every year I discover that not everybody knows Oakville's unique role in Black history. Do you want to say a quick word about why we care so much about it here?
You're right. It's one of the big secrets of Oakville. But Oakville was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad, and many people who live in Oakville don't really know that. And of course, we have all the heritage of it, and it's set up at the Oakville Museum. That is a permanent display, but for people to go and visit. And many people in Oakville are not aware of it, but it's becoming known more now, as Oakville is one of the places that one of the stops on that Underground Railroad.
You've done a lot of work to help people get to know that, and I thank you for that. I thank all of you for joining me today. We'll be back in a second with 3 members of council to hear council's reaction and council's information from other residents that they've discussed our future needs with. Thank you for joining us to see how council matters. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm now joined by 3 members of Oakville's council. Councillor Alan Johnston, who represents Oakville at the Oakville Town Council and also at the Halton Regional Council. Councillor Ralph Robinson, who represents Oakville on the Oakville Town Council, and both of them are from Bronte or Ward 1 if you go by the numbers. And we're also joined by Dave Gittings, who is the Town Councillor for Ward 3, the southeast area of town. Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. You heard the panel talk about future needs of the town. Dave, what's your take on what they had to say? Did you hear anything that you can react to there?
Well, in terms of the downtown area, we're looking at through a couple of studies, and we're going to get a better idea in terms of what the community wants and what's needed. A couple of other things we're working on is the former hospital lands. The end of next year, we get the land. We still have to decide what the community center is going to look like. We haven't had those discussions with the community yet, and we have to see what facilities we're going to have there. Number of other things. If you go back to the Parks Rec Library Master Plan, there is a need for additional splash pads throughout wards 1, 2, and 3. And so there are some facilities we still pretty badly need.
Mm-hmm. And Councillor Robinson, Ralph, what did you hear that you think we can do?
Well, one thing I heard that I agree with 100% was Veronica Tyrrell talking about the need for an outdoor facility. You know, we used to do some outdoor stuff. Royal Bank used to host a concert in Coronation Park, and then this major tree that was part of it all fell down, killed the park, stopped that, and that hasn't happened anymore. And I'd like to see some more outdoor facilities, as well as you've told us we can have next year in Bronte is a library, Your Worship. So we're looking forward to that. And
nobody today asked for your library,
yeah,
but you've heard from other residents.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've heard from other residents, and we're working on a library. We hope it'll come forward quickly.
Well, the two of you are very influential on council. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to stand in your way. Councillor Johnston, what about you?
I agree with Ralph on the library. I sit in the library board, and it's in the budget for next year. So we're actively pursuing that, and it will be open.
So that's good news for you, Ralph.
That's good news it's good news for Bronte, not just Ralph. We're also looking at improving the outdoor space in Bronte. We're upgrading the Bronte Athletic Field. We're improving the baseball diamond, which hopefully we've had discussions with the Baseball Association. They're happy with the changes that are going on. We'll be improving the parking to make it safer. It's a high-use sports field. Thanks to the province and the feds helping us out with funding through their stimulus program. And it does need to be safer for parking to get the kids in and out. So we're doing that, which is good. And the Downtown Cultural Hub review is an ideal opportunity to design a great outdoor space that the other panelists were talking about.
Well, sure. We've used Centennial Square as an outdoor stage area when we did the big Olympic parade. So, yeah, there is a potential there that we could grow, I think. Dave, in terms of the future facilities for the town and looking at the downtown cultural hub specifically, I worry that, and I just want to check and see if you share this worry, I worry that people might not realize that we have a renewal opportunity that we don't have any trouble contemplating funding because we plan for infrastructure renewal in our town. But we want to have a Dream Big Plan B, shovel-ready plan in case 2017, which is the sesquicentennial of Canada, in case there's a last-minute request for shovel-ready plans for sesquicentennial infrastructure projects. Do we need to do more to make that clear in our process?
Well, I think we're going through that now with all the discussions we've had with the BIA, with the residents associations. I have no doubt we'll be able to come up with a shovel-ready plan that'll spend as much money as we could possibly receive. It'll tie in.
Stress received.
Receive, yes. Ties in with the streetscape plan. We want the trees to live longer. We want people to spend more time downtown. So I have no doubt that we'll be able to make it a pretty good looking downtown.
So over the next 4 to 8 years, we have really a major agenda in terms of facilities and infrastructure renewal, ranging from the roadbed and the pipes under Lakeshore in the historic original downtown village business area, to all these other facilities that we've mentioned here today. It's going to be an exciting time to be on council, I would think.
I found it's all been exciting. This year, the Aspen Forest mini fields up the road from you, Kingsway Park up in Clearview, new washroom facilities down at Lakeside Park. There's an awful lot of building going on.
Yeah. Ralph, what's your sense? Are people happy with this? Or is the attitude it's about time? What's the attitude you get from people on the street?
I think that the people in Oakville are pretty satisfied with the way we're looking after the recreational facilities, if that's what you're referencing, sir. And I'd just like to point out that you're talking about going forward. What do we need? In 1991, the former director of parks, Bob Perkins, who's now left us, he passed away, he had the foresight to buy that North Park for $6.5 million. And that's a gold mine, that's a jewel that we have now. We have the ice surface there, but we've got lots of room for all kinds of expansion, Your Worship. And you've been leading that since you've been mayor, and you're doing it right. And there's more to go up there, lots of things to happen. Another soccer pitch, I believe. And we're doing the best we can with what we have, and we've acquired a lot of good stuff to make it possible to create what the people want.
Alan, what's your sense? Are we going too fast or too slow?
I think we're going just right, as the Three Bears would say.
The Goldilocks pace.
That's right. No, we've taken the proper approach to increase the space that we need without extending the budget and impacting taxes. We're doing it in a sensible manner.
Well, it is I think we're all proud of the way the average tax increase has gone steadily down over the last 8 years, right? I haven't met anybody who thinks that's the wrong direction. Have you?
No. I mean, we've kept taxes in line, but increased facilities dramatically.
Yeah, it's magic. But basically, the real secret is we use other people's money. We've made developers start paying for the infrastructure that they didn't used to have to pay for. Okay. So in terms of the north, let's just turn our thoughts there. Besides North Park, is there anything else on your radar around the needs of the north from talking to your other, our colleagues on council? Dave?
I think the future community center is top of the list. We've talked about that previously, and I think that's the most pressing need at this time.
So there's also a large community park yet to be identified and built sort of in the center of the North Oakville growth area above Dundas. And I guess it's too far off in the future to turn our minds to yet. But that is yet another opportunity for something spectacular, I would hazard a guess. Ralph, you used to represent, if I remember correctly, quite a ways up north on Bronte Road. Is that right?
Well, I was a councillor for the first number of years, as well as Bronte in Glen Abbey as well. Glen Abbey was all part of what used to be then Ward 2. There was no Ward 1, Your Worship. And yes, you're right, I was part of Glen Abbey.
So did that ward go all the way up to the top of Oakville? Or near it?
Well, I don't think, it certainly wasn't built out. You know, when I was there, it was much smaller than it is now.
I just meant the territory now.
Well, so yeah, the territory hasn't changed. It's still there.
So you have I hope you'll find it congenial if I say you have a grandfatherly interest in the area, even if you're no longer its representative, right?
I have a grandfatherly interest in all of Oakville, Your Worship.
That's beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I gather that you other two gentlemen are maybe too young to have a grandfatherly interest, although you have grandchildren.
I have grandchildren, yes.
I'll keep with a fatherly interest.
So I asked you it that way, Ralph, because I wondered if there was anything in your old stomping grounds that sticks out to your mind.
Well, not really. It's sticking out in my mind now, the fact that, and I didn't mention this, and I'm glad you've given me the opportunity, we need to create and generate more recreational facilities in the Lakeshore Woods area in the extreme west of Oakville. And we're working on a basketball court there, as everybody knows, and also a tennis court maybe for next year. But they don't have much recreation, so that's where I would be focusing my interests at the moment.
Yeah. Well, the basketball court story certainly is a wonderful story. It warms the hearts of everybody who knows it. How old was the lad who came?
7.
He was 7 who came to us?
Yeah.
And talked to the budget committee.
Oh, I'm sorry, he was in grade 7.
Grade 7, so he would have been about 12 or 13. But this one lad changed the budget committee's plan, and it's yet another example of how kids can change the world around them if they try. Right. And this has been another good demonstration, I think, of why council matters in Oakville, and the concern that council has for the future of Oakville comes through very clear. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope we'll see you again when we again consider how council matters.